Okay, right. Welcome everyone. This is your Honorant channel. So now, what are we going to do? We are going to briefly show some matriculant people or grade 11 or people who want to apply for NSFAS. Briefly, if they don't know how or maybe they are not sure. So we're going to make a video now and then to show briefly how to apply for NSFAS. And then from there we're going to do a consent form video, because I noticed that a lot of people, they are struggling with consent form. Some people, they don't know how to download the consent form, how to fill in the consent form. Some, they still struggling with filling in the consent form online. Some, they are struggling with printing the consent form. Some, they did print or they did fill in the consent form, but now they struggle to upload the consent form. Some, they do upload the consent form and then received a text message requesting them to upload a consent form. So for some reason now they are kind of like confused on how to upload the consent form. And then the due date is coming, which is on the 15th. So as we can see the dates here, it shows that the 10 days from now, 10 days left from now. So funding for NSFAS Bursary and Loan Scheme extended to the February 15th, 2024. So after 15th February, the bursary is going to close. So now we're just briefly going to go through the bursary. So this is the page, the website of NSFAS 2024 application. So it's written 2024 applications. Hi, Fambanawena. So you can scroll down briefly to familiarize yourself. NSFAS officials will never ask or call you to share your password. So obviously we do everything online, so which means now you don't have to share. Some people, they'll be like, okay, send me your details and I'll apply for you online. You see, so that is not the good way, unless your relative or someone that is trustworthy. But even though, you have to learn to do it by yourself. So DIY, do it yourself, is the most reliable thing that you can do. It's easy to do so. So if you want to apply for NSFAS, you can use a mobile, which means a smart cell phone. You download a smart cell phone on you log in on a smartphone. Then you go through. If you have a laptop, obviously, you just go to the website and then sign in or create a file. For some reason, there is a mobile app for NSFAS. So there's a app for NSFAS. You can easily download it on Google Play. If you own an iPhone, you go to iPhone App Store and download. Then briefly here it shows how to apply. So it's simple, easy as 1, 2, 3. First time application, you have to create a profile. So creating a profile, we all know that briefly we have to submit your full name, your surname. You have to submit your ID, your right to ID. It's simple things. Your cell number, your email address, and then your residential address. Then from there, your guidance, detailed information, or your parents, whether it's a mother or father or both. You just fill in it. It's basically a simple thing if you are beginning to apply for your first time for NSFAS. So let's just type in here and then show specifically. So let us continue with this one. How to apply. So now you want to apply. So after you created a profile, your profile is basically your personal details, your guardian personal details, or your parents' personal details, then your residential address, and then there might be some certificates that are required. Like you may be required to upload your ID copy, certified ID copy, your matric certificate, certified matric certificate. You see, you may be just required to upload these things. But then briefly, we're going to show from there. After creating a profile, you come to apply. You apply, and then for your bursary, which is the same thing. You just click on the apply, tap in to update your personal information. So here you can update all the information, personal information, the very same thing that you already submitted when creating your profile. Very same thing. It's similar to opening a Facebook. When opening Facebook, you are required briefly your personal details, your name, surname, full name, similar thing. When you open a WhatsApp, very similar thing. You sign in using your username, surname, similar thing. When downloading all these apps, it's very similar thing. So you don't have to panic or wonder like how are you going to do this? Is it going to be difficult and stuff? So basically NSFAS shows here it provides financial aid to disadvantaged students from the poor and working class who meet eligibility criteria to study at public university or TVET colleges. So basically this one shows that who qualifies to receive the bursary to study. So obviously in order to receive the bursary, there's a certain amount that your household have to have, certain threshold that you shouldn't it's more like you shouldn't have over 600,000, almost 500,000 per year. So if you earn less than 500,000 per year, your family household, then you qualify for NSFAS bursary. But then if for some reason some people working class who happen to maybe get 600,000, they can get the NSFAS, but they may get it as a loan, which means now you will have to pay it back after you finish your studies. But some of them, they may not have to pay it back as long as they do good with their grades. There briefly it shows here that who qualifies for funding. Very similar thing that everyone can qualify. Even if we are paying a grant, we are disabled, and then you receive a grant, such a grant for disability. Maybe you have a broken arm, broken leg, or had an accident, or maybe you are getting anything that you disabled from, you are allowed to apply. Basically disabled people or who earn grant, is easy for them because the information is already captured in the system, so it can easily be retrieved from the SASA system. As it shows here, you have to be a South African citizen, a permanent one, which means you must have an ID, and then obviously your matric certificate. And then if you're a SASA grant recipient, you're paying, you receive SASA, you're allowed to apply for NSFAS. You don't have to be scared or to be worried. And then your amount applicants whose combined gross household income is not more than 350,000. So this one is more like if you are earning above 350,000, you may receive it as a loan. So as it shows here, a person with disability whose combined gross household income is not more than 600,000, which means this is just above 500,000 per year, you may apply if you are disabled. You see, must have email account and cell phone number. Obviously you must be contacted, or you must be able to contact them to make a follow-up. Now who should not apply? Students who have already applied and received funding in previous years have not yet graduated on their current qualification and do not intend to change from one sector to another TVET college or university. Which means now 2023 you applied for NSFAS, you get to college or university, and then you are studying your diploma or your degree. 2024 you are still continuing with your degree or your diploma. You don't have to apply every year. It's automatically going to fund you until you finish your degree or your diploma. Unless if now you decide to change, you applied for a degree and now you want to change your degree. Maybe you applied for accounting, you want to change your accounting, you want to do a business studies, or maybe you want to do law. Then now you can update your information, because the modules may not be the same. The modules may cost the cost of the module. So every module has a different amount. Maybe let's say now you are doing business studies, and then the modules of business studies, all in all, they cost maybe 5,000. All in all, then you want to change, you do law. When you do law, then you may get to realize that law, you see, it's similar, because let me just explain it this way. If you're doing a bachelor's degree, some of the bachelor's degree, they take 3 years to be completed. Then you do have your bachelor's degree. Now, if you want to apply for LLB takes 4 years, because LLB now is NQF 80, which means now it's combined with honors. So now the amount that you paid in your bachelor's degree for 3 years is not going to be the same with the one compared to the LLB one. So which means the 3 years one is not going to be the same with the 4-year bachelor's degree. You see the difference. That is why now you have to update NSFAS with your change of qualification, so that now they may be able to cover the extra amount or the required amount in your current chosen course. You see, otherwise there's no stress. What does the bursary cover? Once your funding application becomes successful, NSFAS cover your cost. So now if you're studying in college, you're studying other universities except UNISA, you will be covered for accommodation, for living allowance, for learning material allowance, for personal care allowance. But now, as it shows here, it simply shows here, if you are studying at the University of South Africa, which is UNISA, you will receive funding for tuition fees, books, subject to the number of modules you registered. Obviously, every year you have to register 10 modules, 5 modules per semester. So you are going to be covered for your books, for your personal care allowance. You see. So which means the amount is not going to be the same with people who are studying, you see, in college or other universities except unis. The amount is not going to be the same. If you're eligible student with disability, you will receive funding for assistive devices, which means now if you are disabled, obviously you may need some assistance. Maybe let's say you have a problem with your eyes and then you are certified as disabled, so you may need some extra assistance with your maybe glasses or something. You see, if maybe you're using a wheelchair, you may need some assistance to drive around your wheelchair. You see, then you'll be covered for assistance, covered for meals, covered for tuition, covered for transportation, tuition, covered for human support, covered for accommodation. Obviously, all these things, they are only for people who are disabled and applied with their certificate from their doctors, which shows that indeed you are disabled and indeed you require certain assistance. You see, some people, they may be disabled in a way that they take like they're kind of like slow people. So which means now if you're writing exam, you may have to apply so that you may be granted extra time. If a normal exam takes 2 hours, maybe you may be granted to take 2.5 hours or to 3 hours, extra 1 hour. You see, only if you have a proof that you are disabled and you require such assistance. You see, then require supporting documents during the application process. Obviously, you have to submit the necessary, especially if you are disabled. You see, so you have to submit your matric, you have to submit your ID, you have to submit your disability letter, which is signed by a doctor and is approved that indeed you are disabled for this kind of treatment, and any recommendation that you may need for assistance. You see, then we click here for a form to download for disability. Now here we have consent form, which is this one most people they're struggling with. Then we have a student recognized as a vulnerable child. So you may now have to click here to download this one. So which means this one, an applicant who is recognized as a vulnerable child by the Department of Social Development must provide completed and vulnerable child declaration form. So this is mostly people where maybe they are maybe some of them, let's say like people who maybe lost their parents and then they live almost like an orphan in a way, you see, and then they are living because they are being supported by social workers. Maybe their parents, they have a family but they are not working, no one is working, and they receive the financial aid from the social worker and they are registered from the social worker. Then they may need to provide those details from the department to attach them, which means for disabled people, they applied with ID, with matric certificate, and then plus their medical certificate. For students recognized as vulnerable, they will then apply with their ID, matric certificate, and then their vulnerable child certificate or letter. Then other documents that may be required, if applicable, retrenchment letter, death certificates, divorce decree, proof of legal guardianship, marriage certificate. Only if you are married, you provide marriage certificate. If you are divorced, maybe divorce certificate. If your parents are deceased, and then maybe you're working, you live on your own, or like you are maybe you have no one that is have no guidance, you're independent in a way, then you may have to provide a proof of death certificate of your parents. Obviously, all these things, they are going to be checked and verified from Home Affairs, from other institutions like Umalusi and all stuff, you see. Which means now that is the importance of the consent form. Then applications, general condition. So you note if you are a SASA recipient, there no need of proof of income is required. You will be eligible for a funding award if you have registered at the institution and academically eligible. So this one shows that if now you depend on grant, SASA grant, you don't need to provide a proof of payment or maybe pay slip that shows that okay, you are getting this amount from SASA. You don't need to do that because your information is already in the system of the government. Only people who are working in private sectors, or yes, some of them may be working in the public sectors, but they are not paying a SASA grant. They are not getting paid the SASA. they can apply. So if getting paid from SARS, which means you are getting paid a money from the government. So already government they do have your updated information, so they can just take it from there. So it's simple when you do that. Application restriction. Now we get to a point now. Okay, what is restricted? If you want to apply, what do you may not what may make you not be able to apply? If NSFAS discovers that an eligible student has misrepresented or falsified their details and these do not match with their third-party data sources, it is considered a criminal offense. Obviously, it's more like when you're submitting a CV and then you attach wrong information or fake certificates, which means now you may not receive the work. Similar to NSFAS. If now you may be getting paid more than 350,000, maybe you're getting paid $500,000 per year, and then now you submit a application requesting that NSFAS to pay you, and then you claim that you are getting paid or your household is getting paid less than 350, yet your household is getting paid $500,000, 500,000 or 600,000. Now NSFAS, when they do verify your information, your document, and they found out that you're not getting paid, your household is not getting paid less than 300,000. Instead, you're getting paid over $500,000, which means you do not qualify. The application is going to be declined. Even if you're getting paid, your household is getting paid less than 300,000. But now, if you happen to submit fake information, submit wrong information, you see, maybe let's say now you submit your ID copies, and then you submit someone else's ID copy and then claim as they as your parents. Maybe submit someone who is not your guidance, who is not close to you, and then you submit their details, and then you claim that they are your parents. So what they're going to do, they're going to check in Home Affairs whether is this person really your parents or not. Somehow you may claim that, okay, your parents are dead, you don't have any parents, so you are very vulnerable, you need some assistance. Then you submit application, they are going to check, you see, with Home Affairs whether indeed your parents, they have died. So if they found out that your parents are still alive, yet you applied as if your parents are dead, you disqualify. You see, or sometimes you write wrong information, obviously going to be disqualified. So you just have to say the right thing. Some people, they write wrong information thinking that they may receive a lot of amount of money. You see, some people, that's what they do. Some people, they use wrong home addresses, especially more like college people. College people, they say if you are living far from school, more like rural areas, you may get a certain amount of money. If you're living in town, you may get a different amount of money compared to someone who's living in a rural area. So somebody will be like, okay, if you're living in a rural area, you're getting paid a lot of money, then I'm going to act as if I'm living in a rural area, and I'm going to use a fake address from a rural area. Yet all your details are captured from Home Affairs or from all the other departments that you are staying in the CBD. You get a problem. You see, simple things. So NSFAS retains the authority to cancel or refuse financial aid to the student if necessary, which means if by means of necessary, this means that if you submitted false information, they have a reason to cancel your information. You see, it's just like that. Okay. So from there, it's just simple things. Just stay true, submit the relevant things. Obviously, you just use your cell phone, you download the app, you submit through the app. You see, Very simple. So now I have to read through these things. That is why I'm going through. I know it's simple thing, but most of people, we tend to ignore these things. We tend to just pass through them and then want to apply. Then along the way we get to stuck with our application, especially like people who apply for the first time, from matric people. You see, some people maybe they're staying in rural areas. You see, so they may not have access or awareness of technology or smartphones because of disadvantage for background. Obviously, people who are staying in city is very simple things to do, but to someone who's staying in a rural area or staying in a farm and now is trying to transit, like he's trying to change from staying in a farm and apply using mobile phone, which things that they are not yet used to, it may be some challenging. So now that's why I'm kind of like going through this. So fraud prevent, some of the people, their application that declined, but they have no idea what is the reason why they declined, because they didn't go through some of these things. So these things briefly is more like reading a policy, rules and regulations and policy of NSFAS. So before you apply, you have to be aware, okay, if I do this, I'm in the right path. If I don't do, you see. So fraud prevention tips, how to keep your account safe. Now I have an account with NSFAS, how to keep it safe. Always keep your identity document and password safe. You created account in NSFAS with using your ID. You don't have to show everyone, don't have to share on social media that, okay, I submitted mine, and then you show people your ID. Do not share any of your personal information with anyone. As I stated that you don't share online, don't share your friends, social media, you see. Always log out on your account when using your personal computer, laptop, or internet cafes. Especially internet cafe. If you go to internet cafe, you log in using your ID number, your password, and then after you're done the application, you just leave without logging out. Someone else may come in and continue logging into your account and access your details, everything. Which means from there, they can easily cancel your application. And then later you found out that your application has been cancelled, but you're not aware who cancelled it. You see, ensure to at least reset your password once a month. This will prevent fraudsters from having access to your recent password credentials. Keep your password safe, and as far as officials will never call you and ask you to share your password, so your password remains with you. Which means now when you have to reset your password, which means now once a month, so that sometimes it's better if you don't like, if you enter a password, somehow it's better not to save it, automatically save it. Somehow it's better to, every time you log in, try to type in the password, but type in the password where you are not around people, because some people they may like want to know, want to see, watch how do you enter a password, and then they follow the similar thing. So now, which means you have to change your password every month. By changing your password, you're trying to prevent or minimize people who are trying to scam or trying to log in using your password, because to a certain point they may get to use your password, especially friends or someone who is around you. They may get to know your password and then try to use your password and log in. See, so by changing your password, now you kind of like preventing that from happening. Basically it depends, but at the same time it is one of the safe things to do to prevent it from being stolen. So from there, very simple. You may have take the contacts here at the toll-free contact, call them. Here is the info at NSFAS. We email them for inquiries regarding your applications. If there are delays or you don't understand the procedure, or you're inquiring maybe regarding rejection or anything that you get to realize that this thing is not helpful, you contact them and then they will show you how to solve your problem. You see how to go about it. Now we're going to apply now. Here's apply now. Boom, you tap apply now. From there, after reading everything, then you go to application. From there, application, you create an account. From creating an account, you're going to log in. After logging in, you have been welcomed by NSFAS dashboard. So it shows you here, apply for funding now, enter your details and upload all required documents. Application is only open for following 2024 TVET College Semester 1, TVET College Tri-Semester, obviously colleges have 3 semesters, universities yearly, some TVET colleges yearly, university semester, you see. You then press apply. If you already apply, you just come here, you press application, view your application. Then you can see, or you can track how your application is doing. You go and create it, and then we press apply. So here it shows, dear new applicant, are you ready to apply for funding? You press yes, I'm ready. What would you prefer to apply for? I want to apply for a bursary, for a loan. For a loan, a bursary, which means if you're doing undergraduate, you're doing a college degree, you're doing a TVET college, you apply for undergraduate. You're doing a diploma in university or bachelor's degree in university, undergraduate, you receive your bursary. But now, after your bachelor's degree, you want to apply for honors, want to apply for masters, and so on. It will be considered as a loan, which means now it's no longer bursary. Bursary is more like studying free. When it comes to loan, they will give you a money that after you studied and you're working, you will get to pay it back. So which means now for undergrads, we are going to do what? Press the number 1. We are looking for a bursary. You see, we are looking for bursary. It's a similar procedure if you are doing for, if you are looking for a loan. Similar procedure. You press, I want to apply for bursary. You press continue. Now, university bursary agreement terms and conditions. Here are terms and conditions, which means we don't necessarily read through this, but since we went through the introduction, it mostly covers the rules and regulation of the bursary. We just have to scroll down from here to the bottom where we will click that have read the full university terms, yes. Then we click have read TVET terms, yes. We then click accept. From there now, NSFAS funding application institution, are you disabled? If you are disabled, you press yes. Then you're going to download an annexure. This annexure is the one that you're going to fill in your medical statement or proof of medical that you are disabled. You see, if you're not disabled, you press no, I'm still fine. Then you come here with highest qualification. So now maybe have a grade 10, grade 12, mostly for matric student. Have a grade 12, you are applying now for diploma or a bachelor's degree. Then this is what's going to be helpful. You press grade 12. For which year are you applying for? Obviously it is 2024, so apply for 2024. Then you select 3 institutions. So this one you may randomly select, but now you have to check the one that you are looking for. So mostly, so let's say now I'm looking for UNISA, South Africa. Okay, University of South Africa. Here we go, University of South Africa. Then we tap in here. Then these ones now you can just randomly select anyone from the ones Central University, Cape University. You see, what is going to happen here after you received your admission application from university? When you apply for NSFAS, you will then submit your. But anyway, it's not necessary because NSFAS will automatically know that if you approved your proof of registration to UNIS and applied for their bursary, they will obviously pay for UNIS. If you applied for a University of Cape Town and you have registration from the University of Cape Town, they are automatically going to do what? Pay Cape Town University. So what matters the most within these universities is that the one that you have been registered, they are the one that they are going to pick it up. So you don't need to stress with that one. Then we choose study info. Here you may choose anything here. Because if you want to choose, like maybe you want to choose law, there's no law. But you may just choose something that it will make you be able to fill in or complete the form. Communication, just choose communication, and then services, you just randomly choose here anything here, because what is going to matter the most is your registration, proof of registration. Your proof of registration is the one that has all the necessary details that you're registered for business studies or you're registered for laws, which one that a university is admitted you. So you see, this one is going to be necessary. This one is just randomly filling in. Okay, from here we're going to tap continue next. Tap next. Then from here, obviously you have to type in your town, your address. So these are basically simple things. So you can just press your address, street name by right, your town right, you see, you choose a province, anyone, your postal code, you see, then you go to next. Simple thing. Save the address. You don't have to save, but you may actually save it. It's up to you whether you want to save it or not. Now here, make sure you have the following electronic documents: your South African ID, certified ID copy, your parents' ID copy or death certificate, court order if applicable, proof of income, which means this one, if you are recently applied for a first time, proof of income that shows that proof of income was payslip that shows that how much they are earning. So if we are receiving NSFAS, you don't need to show this one, proof of income. Vulnerable child, you may have to send a application declaration that I'm indeed a vulnerable child. Marriage certificate, if you are married, you may have to apply for this one. Even if you don't submit these things, they are going to check in Home Affairs whether you are married or not. So you don't need to lie. Just submit the right thing. So as they state here, they don't need affidavits, because affidavits, people, they lie. You see? Disability annexure, if you're disabled, as we see already, we came across this one. We download the annexure, which means this one is a medical certificate or proof of disability. Then if you're married, you press yes, I'm married. If you're not married, you're not married. You see, are you able to provide the details of your father? If you're staying with your father, or maybe you have your details of your father, you press yes. If maybe you don't have access to your details of your father, but you have details of your mother, then you may choose to. You don't have details of your mother, you may go to your mother. You see, then apply here, write the information. I'm able to provide the details of your mother. If yes, yes, mostly, yes, mostly, because there are a lot of single parents. So which means now you may obviously have access to your mother's documents. Not necessarily that everyone is a single parent, but I'm just talking based on statistics that there are a lot of single parents. Therefore, now there may be a reasonable statement that you don't know your father's information. Either way, and as far as Home Affairs, they have all the information. So if you provide one, they know. Are you married? They know. Are you able to provide the details of your father? Let's say no. Are you able to provide the details of your mother? Let's say yes. In this case, it depends which one that you are able to have. Does the mother have SAID? Yes, ID. Then we're going to press your mother's ID here. Sorry, you see, and then you press your name of your mother. You see, and then annual gross. So maybe let's say they're getting paid 100,000. Remember, you don't have to get paid 350,000 above. So this one is 100,000, which means you qualified. Even if it's 300,000, you see, 300,000, you still qualify. Even if it's 350,000, you still qualify. But if now, let's say if it's 351 rand, 351,000, you don't qualify. Simply because of that one there. So you don't have to have that one there. Behind 350, there must be no one there. You are disqualified. So, which means now we can just say 300,000 maybe. Then you qualify. Are you able to provide the details of your guidance? Obviously, you don't have a guidance in this space because you used your mother. But if you're living with the guidance, let's say now your grandmother, and your mother is staying maybe in another town, maybe your mother is working in Gauteng and you're staying in rural area, for example, with your guidance, full-time guidance. So you can just apply with your mother's details, and then for your guidance you can use your grandmother or the parent that you're staying with full-time. Because either way, even if you don't supply with them, that they are going to know that your mother is full-time working in a department which is based in Gauteng, and then they have a different home address in Gauteng compared to the one that we have in the rural area. So either way, you have to be honest. You see, then you press next here. Mother's annual gross income required. So here, obviously it's going to do this, which means now we have to do this. See, there we go. 300,000. You just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So until it shows this mark, you then press next. You see, ID number is not valid. Obviously, I didn't press ID number here for security reason. So I'm just showing here how to do it. You see, I'm just briefly showing how to do it, which means it may take you to documents from here. I'm actually press my ID number here and then hide the details and then continue, but I don't want to keep applying to NSFAS because they're going to record my details and they will realize that I have a lot of applications, and which at the same time it doesn't make sense because I wrote mother, there's no any detail. But I'm just briefly showing that how I apply. Obviously, when you're here, you already see the information that from here you go to next. From next, it will take you where you have to now apply or upload your information, like your ID number, certified copies. That's what's going to happen from here. So what we're going to do now, from here, we're going to do a consent form. How to do a consent form? Let's do a consent form. So that's what I was showing, how to apply for NSFAS. Now I'm going to show people how to download a consent form, and then how to fill in a consent form online. So you don't need to print a consent form and go to town, pay amount of town to print it, fill in information, and then write the wrong information, scratch the form, and go back to town, print another one, and then go back home. You see, it's going to be like a lot of information, because even if you print it there in town, you're going to have to fill in your details of your parents. So in order to fill in your details of your parent, you're going to have to print it in town, or maybe in your nearest cafe. You fill in your detail, you take it back home or to your parents. Then your parents will fill in their details, sign in, because eventually they're going to have to sign in their information. Sign in, and then have to go back to town to scan it. You see, it's a lot of work. Even if you know your mother's signature, or you want to fake it, but it's not recommended to fake it, because as I said it here, that if you submit your document, which is your ID, in your ID there's a signature down there in your ID book or your ID card, especially ID card. There's a signature there that shows that what kind of signature that you have, you see. So now your mother, your parents, they also, if they have a smart card, they also have their signature there. It is captured in Home Affairs. So now if they have a signature and their signature is written mother, and then now because your mother is not around, you decide to sign in for yourself, and then when you sign in, you sign father, you see. Then NSFAS received the information. When they check now, okay, the ID number of the mother, yes, the signature of the mother is written mother, but now in this consent form the signature is written father, but the details is detail of the mother, which means this may be the fake information. So these are little things that may make your information, your application be declined, or may be considered as fraudulent. You see, we want to avoid that. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to share on how to do it online using your smartphone. You fill in the information, you sign it online, you apply it, you submit it. Within 5 minutes, done deal. So let's go to consent form.